Good afternoon, fellow YouTubers and board game geekers. Today we will be doing a full playthrough of the first scenario of The Secrets of the Lost Tomb, which is designed by Christopher Batarlis and produced by Everything Epic Games. So this was a special request that Board Game Geek, they wanted to see a full playthrough of this game. So the first part of this video I'm going to show you right here is just going to be the setup portion. So the first thing that you'll do is you will choose a setup scenario. I have chosen, by default, as the recommended, the Pharaoh with the Blue Eyes, the recommended game that you play the first time. So every time that you choose the scenario, you will read the flavor text out to all your friends. That gives you a premise of everything. We'll do that at the start of the next video. A specific strategy that you'll want to use and employ to defeat this guy. His name is Raz Azul Ahmed. Then this is special setup on each specific scenario. This is the tomb setup. So you'll set aside a certain number of items as required and some monsters. And then over here you'll have the win conditions, you'll have lose conditions, you have scenario trigger events. These are going to happen as we're exploring. These are symbols that you'll see on the tiles. And then these are what happens. We'll get to there once we get to story. So we have chosen our scenario. So the next phase is where you'll organize, you'll set up the room tiles, this is the same in every game. This is the first floor, this is the second floor, this is the third floor. First floor, let me fix that tile, sorry. It consists of the tomb's entrance, Quetzalcoatl's Hall, that has a soulmonger. This is where you can choose to purchase items. When you defeat monsters, you'll get soul shards. That's where you buy those. Then you have stairs down from Quetzalcoatl's descent, and it links to the Pharaoh's Hall. This is the second floor, level 2. And then level 3 is actually special in this particular game. You can only access it by rooms that have rope, or certain tiles that make you fall into there, and you can only get out if you have an actual rope already there. So, not exactly exciting if you don't get anything good draw-wise. So, next thing we will do is you'll organize all your components. This is where you determine how difficult you want the tomb deck to be. This is what controls the spawning, certain actions that happen during the tomb phase, upkeep, and everything like that. There are 2 different cards that come in it. There are green cards, which are for an easier time. Red cards are for more challenging time. Or you can mix all of them together to make an intermediate deck, and that's what we'll be doing in this particular run-through. Okay, so the next thing that we'll do is you will choose an expedition leader. I have chosen here to have Iron O'Sullivan be our expedition leader. Basically, that's a first player marker. It makes it so you get to read all the flavor text, and you're responsible for the comet tracker. So after that, you'll actually choose your adventures. I have pre-selected 2, as I showed you before. I got Iron O'Sullivan, and we have Christopher St. George. So with that, you would then go down here to the silver area, which will actually detail the starting stats for your character. The first icon is Audacity. That's used for making things easier to hit or for triggering rerolls. The second icon is your maximum health. So in this case, that's 15. Third icon is the Courage icon, and that's what your starting courage is. So in this case, Christopher starts at -1. Then each adventure will have their own starting items. In this case, Christopher has a Tommy gun, which is right here, and the fedora, which is right here, and we will go over that in more detail as we go on. And then you'll take this arm tracker, as they call it, and you'll lay it over your card, and you'll turn the Audacity track to hit the starting Audacity, health track to the starting health, and then this is how you track the courage. As your courage goes up or down, you will have pluses or minuses to certain abilities. And then each character has a number of stats that go across the top. We can go in more details on those later, but basically it's strength, dexterity, knowledge, mythos, and movement. Each character also has 2 special abilities as indicated here. And then in the bottom right, if they have the little infinity logo, that means you can use it an infinite number of times or as dictated on the actual card. Otherwise, you'll have, like here on Iron O'Sullivan, you'll have cards that have 3, so you could use this up to 3 times in the entire game, and this one 2 times up into the entire game. And we can go over all of that in more detail and once we get to the actual playthrough. And then in a 2-player game like we're doing here, there are different setup rules for the number of actions that players have. So in this case, each player will have 6 actions. We also start with 2 followers that will help us through our adventure here. And then the little triangle icon right here is the search tracker, which also starts on green. This game also comes with a number of dice. This actually includes the dice from the little expansion box. We won't be using those today. We will actually be using a website, which I will go ahead and trans over now. So you can see there, it's random.org. I'm just going to roll the d6 on here so it's easier for everyone to see and for everyone to read. Last thing I want to preface here in the setup is this particular game and run through we will be playing with the expansion tomb tiles, the expansion adventures, equipment, pretty much everything in the expansions included. These 2 characters are in the original box, but I wanted to give a little bit more flavor to include everything, but there's plenty of variety in the base game itself. But that should cover everything here for the setup, so let's go ahead and we can move now into actually getting started in the game where I can explain how everything goes. Alright, thanks for watching, and go ahead and go to the next video if you want to see more.